Welcome everyone to the Electric Education Center session number 16. Today I'll be talking about licensing and permits. Before I start, I want to send a personal message to whoever has the email address Izzy Garbo. I enjoy your comments and your suggestions, and I'd love to respond to you, but I don't have your name or your email address. So please send it to rich@electriceducationcenter.com. Also, my next exam prep class starts Wednesday, September 15, and it will be a Zoom class. Just go to the website www.electriceducationcenter.com to view the courses and to register. So I'll be doing a combination Zoom class, and I'll have some guys here in the classroom live and in person. By then, we should be pretty much over this COVID problem. All right. On to the program. All right, so Rich, I have my education, I have my experience, I have a work vehicle, and I have work lined up. Is there anything else I need? Yes. You must obtain a contractor license in order to apply for permits to install the electric work. So let's start with the license. Let me first say that every municipality, whether it's a state, a city, a township, a borough, or a village, each entity sets its own rules for licensing. At the low end of the spectrum, there are no licensing requirements. For example, here in Pennsylvania, out in the sticks, there's no requirements for licensing, nor permits, and nor inspections even, maybe. So again, you have to find out from the city you want to work in or the local municipality as to just what is required. Let's take a look at the state of New Jersey, for example. In order to obtain a license to do work anywhere at all within that state, you must obtain a state license. In order to obtain a New Jersey state license, you now are required to complete an electrical apprenticeship program or prove that you have college experience, education, or technical education, or some sort of that type of education and a certain amount of experience in the field. And speaking of state license, the states of Delaware and Maryland also require a state license. So why do all those states have a state license and Pennsylvania does not? Well, I have to point out that there are 50 members in the Pennsylvania Senate, and there's 203 people in the House of Representatives out in the state capitol in Harrisburg. Have you ever tried to get 253 people to agree on anything? And that's why it's very difficult to get the state license or anything approved in this state with that many people trying to run the show. Anyway, back to the state of New Jersey. For example, they have only 80 members in their state legislature. And maybe that's why they have a state license for electrical contractors. So, in addition to the educational training and experience required by the state of New Jersey, they also require that the applicant passes 3 exams. The first is the NEC Code Book exam. The second is a fire alarm code book exam. And the third is a business law exam. And you might say, oh, Rich, I'm not going to do fire alarm. Who cares? The state requires that you pass a fire alarm exam, and that's what you have to do. Nobody says you have to install fire alarms, but you've got to pass the fire alarm exam. Simple as that. In the states of Delaware and Maryland, and many others, in addition to experience and training requirements, that they require that the applicant pass 1 exam based on the National Electrical Code Book. Rich, what code book issue is the test on? Well, you got to check again with the municipality or state where you live and where you want to work. It could be the 2011, the 2014, the 2017, or the 2020 National Electrical Code. Okay, Rich, let's say I attended a quality exam prep class like the one you offer, and I passed my exams. I showed proof of my training and experience, and I got my contractor license. Can I get to work now? Hang on a minute, Skippy. There's more. In Pennsylvania, for example, in order to do contracted work, you must first obtain an HIC registration number. HIC stands for Home Improvement Contractor. Note that I said it's a registration number. The HIC number is not a license number. So just what does this HIC number do? Well, this HIC number protects the consumer because the building owner must make sure that anyone calling themselves a contractor must show that they have this HIC number and that it is contained in the business letterheads and on their contracts and invoices, etc. And it shows that they have registered with the state attorney general's office. So the tip here is don't cry and whine like a crybaby because the state government is making you register your company with the state attorney general's office. Use it to your advantage and alert the building owner that if he or she is getting other quotes for the work at hand, the other contractors have to show their HIC number also. This will weed out the offenders and the people's trying to take shortcuts, and it'll level the playing field for you. So remember, always educate the customer as to what this HIC number is. Now, your state might have other requirements. I'm telling you, you have to check with the municipality you want to work in. They may have other requirements that I don't even know of. So simply start with the L&I department, and that's the Department of License and Inspections. They will steer you in the right direction. Okay, Rich, I've completed all that you mentioned. Now can I pull a permit and get to work? Generally, I would say you're ready. So why is a permit now required in the first place? Well, a permit is just that. It's permission to install work or to perform work and for you to walk on someone else's property other than your own. You have to have permission for that, and that's why it's called an electrical permit. Where do I apply for these permits? Again, start with the L&I department, license and inspections for the city, the township, or the borough. They will inform you of all the rules and regulations. So what information is required on this permit application? It's just the usual. Building owner name, address, township, block, etc. Then the contractor name, license, insurance information, etc. A description of the work, and either a cost actual or a cost estimate. You know, what voltages, what type of equipment is going to be installed, things like that. There could be more in Philadelphia, for example. Your own personal and property tax payments better be up to snuff also. Some municipalities want a copy of the contract submitted with the permit application. Most generally want an estimate of the work so they can calculate the permit application fee or cost. Hey, Rich, how about me? I only install low voltage wiring like phone and data cables. Do I need an electrical permit? Well, did you hear what I said earlier? If you're installing wiring on somebody else's property, you need a permit to be on their property. Yes. And the same goes for burglar alarm wiring. And the same thing goes for fire alarm wiring. And the same thing goes for the HVAC contractors who want to replace or run new wiring. Last thing you want to do is appear before Judge Judy and have her ask you if you had a permit to be on the property where something has gone wrong. Always, always get the rules straight from the locality you are working in. Getting back to that estimate, it's important that you be as accurate as possible with the estimated construction costs. You can't just estimate that every job you pull a permit for is $2,000. You also cannot write down that you're wiring up an entire new home for $1,500. It doesn't compute. The L&I plans examiner and the permit issuer is going to reject your application, and then you have to start all over, and now you have a black mark on your record. Don't play around with the numbers. All of these construction estimates relate directly to permit fees and inspection fees, which in turn relate to the cost of the contractor insurance fees. Don't mess it up. Don't cut yourself short. Rich, who else can pull a permit for the work that has to be installed? Well, there are other situations possible. On bigger jobs, sometimes the general contractor for the project has to pull the building permit and then list all the licensed subcontractors who will be installing work on the project. So it varies. Sometimes, like in New Jersey, the homeowner can pull the permit to have the work done at his house. Inside the city of Philadelphia, the city limits, the homeowner is never allowed to pull a permit nor do his own electrical work. So it really varies. All right, Rich, I jumped through all the hoops. I overcame all the roadblocks. My work is complete and installed perfectly. Now what? Now comes the inspection. I could write a book on electrical inspecting, and maybe someday I will. Who knows? If you want a mini education on how to deal with the inspector, be sure to view the next session, session 17. But for now, Van Wert out.